Today's quick video is one simple tip that will help you get the most summer growth out of your palms here in the UK. I don't know if you saw my recent video at RHS Garden Wisley, looking at some incredible palm specimens there, but there really is such a variety of cold hardy palms that we can grow in the UK. But there's one thing that they've all got in common, and it's nothing about fertiliser. I know that's the go-to thing if you want more growth out of your palm, but if you've just started growing palms, if your palm isn't growing quite as fast as you'd expect, or maybe it's not holding many green leaves and they're turning brown quite quickly, then today's video should help you. If you have a look on my channel, there's loads of videos all about the different varieties of palms we can grow here in the UK, as well as care tips through the year. But the one thing that I've mentioned a few times is that palms, they're not desert plants. I think it's easy to have a stereotypical image of palms being plants that purely thrive in hot, dry, arid locations. But the reality is that certainly isn't true, at least not for the cold hardy palms that we can grow here in the UK. Trachycarpus, like this waggy or wagnerianus, they actually come from areas of Asia that are a lot cooler and wetter than you might expect. So whilst they don't like sitting in water, the truth is that hot, dry climates, they're not ideal for them, and they actually get the fastest growth and possibly the best looking growth somewhere with maybe a little bit more shade, a bit more shelter, and certainly more water. That's Trachycarpus though, and when it comes to feather palms, like this Phoenix canariensis, my Jubaea chilensis, the Chilean wine palm further down the garden, Butia odorata, the Pindo palm from Brazil, there's lots of varieties that you might definitely associate with warmer places. I always try to raise them up on a bank to give them better drainage, and it also helps that soil warm up quicker in spring. But the truth is, that drainage, that's really about the winter months. That's to help get them through winter, because palms like that, palms like the Phoenix behind me, they can take some cold, they can take frost, but what they can't take is being sat in water and then subjected to the same cold. When summer comes around, these plants, they all need water. Palms like the Phoenix canariensis, yes, they can get by and survive in arid locations, but in those places, when given extra water, the growth rate is dramatically quicker. And it's the same here in the UK. I don't know about you, but here in North Lincolnshire, we've had such a dry start to this year, or should I say dry first half of the year. A dry spring led to maybe a couple of days of rain, and from then we've only had really one day of rain this morning actually as it happens. That's been pretty much it. So the soil here has been really dry. So palms, even those that come from more dry countries and places in the world, they still need more water for the best growth possible. Now we're in our garden's second summer, I'm trying to wean a lot of plants off watering, but the reality is, if you're going for that jungle look, that overplanted, dense kind of feel, then you need to have plants with the bigger leaves and a lot of them. So plants like Gunner manicata, the bananas, the tree ferns, they all get the watering priority. Unlike the Gunner then, these Trachycarpus fan palms, they don't wilt after a few days without rain. And those feather palms you're growing, you might have seen them in much drier, warmer places on holiday. But that doesn't mean they won't appreciate the extra water, especially during the summer months, which here in the UK are very, very short. So you really need to make the most of that sun, get the most growth possible by giving them some extra water. I obviously can't be too scientific about exactly how much water your palm needs. Every plant's different, every garden's different, every location's different. But I will paraphrase something from Nigel at Hardy Palms. While the weather's warm here in summer, it's almost impossible to overwater your palm. So I think really it's a case of reassessing them in your watering priorities. Obviously large mature specimens, they'll get on just fine. But to get the most growth, more water is always a good answer. A couple of the key groups of palms that deserve more frequent watering. Firstly, potted palms. So this one, it's a relatively young Chamaerops in quite a small pot. And a pot like this, especially on sunny days, it'll dry out really quickly. So this will need watering most days. Yes, they're a palm from Mediterranean regions, but they won't like being dried out in such a small pot like this. They'll go a few days just fine, but don't let them go weeks because they'll definitely shrivel up and they'll start to turn brown. And when it comes to larger palms in pots, that 5 or 6 foot trunk Trachycarpus that you've just bought, that palm didn't grow in that pot. Most of them, they're field grown, literally dug up, put into a smaller pot for transportation and then selling. So that palm has got a much smaller root system than it originally had in the ground. So as a result, any kind of potted palm, whether it's small like this one or a much larger specimen, they definitely need frequent watering to keep them happy. Newly planted palms, or especially transplanted ones, again, they really need some extra watering. Those are palms with a much smaller root system than they're accustomed to, so they really need help settling in, especially for that first year. So this year, think about your palms a bit more. Yes, they'll grow just fine without additional water, but if you want them to grow the best, then really prioritise them and you'll absolutely see the results. Trachycarpus, they can grow over a foot of trunk a year. You might see my recent video talk about Trachycarpus nova at RHS Wisley. That one apparently has grown a few feet of trunk a year. So it's amazing what they can do here in the UK. They just need a little bit of extra water to get there. So a very quick video today. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.